And if someone wants to start something related to music, ideally, what would you suggest? Is there
Not a record label. It's a pain. They don't really
make money?
make a lot of money very fast.
Really?
It's you have to, unless you have like big artists on it.
Welcome Shan Singh, DJ Shan, to the new episode of So What's Next. Today we're going to talk about two things, about the DJ industry and about you as well. And I'm more interested to talk about you, but we'll get to that eventually. First tell me this, that why are more people choosing to be DJs? Like, I know a friend of mine, she kind of spent 3-4 lakhs for 3-month course in DJing. She was a singer before, now she switched into this. So like, do you think it's kind of better to get an education in DJing so that you become a DJ, or do you think anyone can learn from anywhere and just like start doing it?
I mean, to be fair, like I learned DJing purely off of YouTube.
Right.
And I mean, I had like a 2-day class from like my mentor at that time. I mean, he still is. Back then, he taught me for like 2 days, and then it just clicked with me. The basics of DJing are quite easy. I would say. Could be controversial, but like I think the basics of DJing are pretty simple and straightforward. Not quite easy, they're pretty simple and straightforward to capture.
So like, why are people like spending so much money to go to these education institutes?
I really don't know. I have any producer I should also be doing it, to be fair, to make money, but like any producer that comes to me or slides in my DMs or emails me or even meets me at shows and stuff, and they ask, oh, how can I produce music or what can I do? Can you give me tips and tricks? I'm like, just it's all on YouTube, bro. It's literally all on YouTube.
Bro, like any industry, I feel anything that you're doing, everything's on YouTube. So why are these guys paying like 3-4, whatever, how much of money they are paying to get a formal education? Because I'll never understand that part of psychology.
Whenever somebody comes and tells me, like, I'm more than happy to say, yeah, sure, I'll teach you, give me 10 lakhs. But I rather say, bro, YouTuber ja, whatever your question is and queries are, just put it onto YouTube. Right. You'll find 10 different videos, pick up whatever you learn from one video here, and you're good, because you don't need to spend that much money.
How much time did you take to learn on YouTube?
See, DJing I learned very fast. It was just something that surprisingly came to me naturally. But the skills of small aspects like say looping and shifting and all that stuff, that all I kind of learned from watching other DJs, and I kept practicing it myself. And I felt like that was a lot better than sitting in a class and taking notes. I felt like that was more practical.
Right.
But the understanding of a crowd, what they wanted, how they're grooving, how they're moving in a club, now suddenly I've been playing 100 people, those 100 people are going to the bar to get a drink, what did I do wrong? Analyzing that comes after experience. That you can't pay 3-4 lakhs for. And plus the audience shifting so much on like a yearly basis now as compared to before, or like a monthly basis. We even more on top of that, but that is only comes from experience.
But you'll go crazy like that, dude. Like, so for example, last Saturday I went to this techno gig, Korolova, which was in Esco.
Yeah.
So I was amazed by the amount of people that have gone from EDMs back in 2016, 2017 to techno.
Techno's a trend right now.
Exactly.
It's all trend based. Like, I'm not saying techno's wrong. Techno's been the essence and ground of dance music for a very, very, very long time.
So can you tell me, like, house, trance, techno, are they subgenres of EDM or are they completely different?
They're all electronic dance music, you could say. EDM has been commercialized as a word.
Yeah.
So it's become a genre for some reason. Like EDM means bam, 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 but like what do you
because
play?
your major artists like your Hardwell, Skrill,
but again, like they all are. Martin Garrix is kind of like this new genre of like say progressive house with, I don't know, he's got a new vibe to him. It's hard to put that into a genre, so people just say EDM. But yeah, like I mean, see the ground of dance music has always come from the pure house music, techno, and then the uplifting trance and side trance and stuff. So those are the 4 or 5 lay ground level
your foundation
genre, the foundation that created big room sound and progressive house and the Martin Garrix of the world and stuff. But what kind of is trending now in India is the whole techno wave.
Bro, techno has gone crazy.
It's gone heavily, like, but just the trend basis. EDM was a trend for 5-6 years. COVID happened, now suddenly techno's the trend. But I feel like in our country we're extremists with trends. Like now we like techno, we like only techno.
That's
Who's
true.
Martin Garrix?
That's true.
When we like EDM, we only like EDM, Hardwell, Armin van Buuren. Who's the techno artist? Now it's the opposite.
Can you tell me the fundamental difference between techno and EDM? Or is there the fundamental
I feel like techno and those kind of genres have a good journey to them. You have to really be engrossed in the music and flow with it and understand what the DJ is trying to do, and there's a good journey to it.
Right.
When it comes to progressive house and EDM and say again like a Garrix, Dimitri Vegas, like Mike, those genres, that's pure just high energy, happy vibes and party vibes.
Yeah.
But techno is also party vibes now, but it has
It's personal to
it's
people.
got it's got a flow to it. It takes its time. You know,
I get
you
it,
won't hear
yeah.
a techno song be over in 2 minutes. You'll hear a gradual growth.
Yeah.
You'll hear certain elements come in. I don't think people are paying attention to that, to be fair.
No, I think half the people are. So the party I went to, half the people were like people who listen to techno
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Half the people were new, who were just copying the people who listen to techno on a regular
Exactly,
basis.
yeah.
And they just came because it's a trend. Like, so when you're there and you observe things, you just like notice, right? Like who's been new, who's
Yeah,
new
yeah,
over
yeah.
here, and who's like been a regular techno listener. So
Fair.
I think that's the difference. And like you said, it's like a moment where you're kind of enjoying every moment
Yeah.
and you're feeling it yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas EDM is like a party thing. But I think that was
Yeah.
more fun back then.
I mean, people are a lot younger. I feel like the audience also has grown a lot in terms of age. The younger kids now are exposed to a lot more
Yeah.
in terms of music, and at least India, has become a cluster of different types of genres and music that's being exposed to everyone's ears on a daily basis, especially because of social media. And I mean, I do miss the days when we had to like look for music.
Yeah.
We had to go to a store and buy CDs, and you'd try the CDs on and see, like, try the CD and
Yeah.
see if you like the thing, like the album, and then buy it. Like
Like it
Planet
was-
M used to be there.
Wasn't commercialized.
You used to go to LimeWire and spend half an hour, 45 minutes a day just trying to download one album,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And that was just the beauty of finding music and enjoying that. You would listen to that one CD at least 40-50 times while driving. Like the same thing would play over and again, but you would enjoy that. You wouldn't get tired.
So I remember in US, when Eminem used to drop an album or
Yeah.
something, like there were lines and all. Like there was
Yeah, yeah.
excitement for music, and everything that came out from an
Exactly.
artist, there was a hype
Because
around.
there was an abundance of it, but it was hard to get.
Yeah.
Now here it's easy to get, and there's too much of it.
Exactly.
So it's just the audience gets very confused.
So I think even DJs get
Yeah.
confused because of
Oh,
that.
for sure,
Like,
for sure.
what do you think international artists, and you're like an international artist, so what do you think these guys are playing or they want to play now?
They're playing what they want to because they're established. And in the international market, you have still very good audiences that will come to listen just to the artist. Here it's for especially local DJs, say like me and the other guys, it's still dicey. It's still like, they will come to listen to what you play and what you showcase, but they also still want to listen to commercial hits
Right.
within the set. They still
Yeah.
want to listen to
Yeah.
an AP in between there. They want to listen to a King in between there.
Yeah.
They're not happy that doesn't show up.
That's true.
That's simply because they as consumers also feel powerful. To that extent, they know what they want. Simple as that. It's just a matter of giving to them in the right manner, where it doesn't, you don't feel like you're exposing your brand or downgrading your brand by playing such a thing. I mean, nowadays there's a lot of artists that have shifted towards more Bollywood sound, more Hindi sound, DJs, I'm saying. Then there are a few that are sticking, to their ground.
No, that's true. But I feel like you've been to Tomorrowland, like you were the first Indian to perform.
Yeah.
There. Like you've seen the international scene and everything, and you've seen the Indian scene. And I think Indian DJs or whoever everyone aspires to be an international DJ someday. Whoever's
Yeah.
But these guys are forced to play in clubs because of maybe whatever reason, money and everything.
It's as simple as our system is messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as our sports is
So,
messed
bro,
up.
how do you get out of that? Like, how do you
It's
go
very
from
tough, bro.
playing in a club,
It's
like
very
you
tough.
playing AP, to actually playing on an international scene like
It's-
Tomorrowland?
It's very tough, bro. It's like
Is there a process?
there's a big process, but that, like, as compared to what it was earlier, is now again pretty much non-existent.
Okay.
You know,
What was the process earlier?
I mean, process earlier, even the international scene was looking at India because we were growing as a EDM
Yeah,
powerhouse
Yeah.
with for example, Sunburn booming at that time and a bunch of festivals coming in and new artists being
Brought
developed.
up, yeah.
Now the international market does not look towards India too much.
Yeah.
In terms of the commercial market, like there's no eyes too much in India. Because I've been to Amsterdam quite a lot this year, and there's not that before there was like, oh, what's happening there? They've forgotten about it because after COVID, it just made a big shift. That's about it.
So consumerism has taken a big shift. So that's why do you think it's fair to say like Indian DJs will keep playing in India only?
I hope not.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've been trying my best to push internationally, even for myself. But see, the aim is for Indian DJs to play abroad to foreigners, not to Indians.
Yeah.
Because we're playing, there are Indian DJs playing in London and all, but they're playing club nights to
Bollywood and all
Bollywood
that,
Indians.
yeah.
So while you're saying it's an international tour, it's actually just
It's
taking an Indian
Indian
flight to
crowd,
play to an
like
Indian
even
crowd.
AP Dillo, if he's performing in Canada, he's performing to Indians.
Just like we speaking before, there's no export.
Yeah.
It's not one artist that is like taking over the world and you're like, yes, he's Indian, you know.
Hmm.
It's just not there, and hopefully will be there at some point soon.
Do you think Indian DJs, when they perform internationally, they
Yeah.
should perform according to the international people? Like,
I feel like Indian DJs, when they perform internationally, they will be their true self.
okay.
Because the audience there is more open to listen to music. For example, Diljit at Coachella. You saw the amount of foreigners in the crowd
Yeah.
who probably don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, but they still fall.
But they're just vibing. That's what foreigners, that's what I like, because at least what I've experienced with foreign music listeners is that they just enjoy the music.
Right.
They really, they just are open to it. They're open to just listening to what's being played on the stage. They don't have expectations that I want to listen to this, so why is he not playing it?
Right.
It's more of,
Like, it's an open perspective that they have, while in India, it's more like a closed perspective. I would say that.
I mean, there is a scene for the open perspective, but it's become a lot smaller than it was before.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very small niche.
Yeah,
that's why.
for sure.
Okay. Now, can we talk about like the streams of income that a DJ has?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to change that as well for myself right now. But
we'll come to you for that, but I want to understand the industry first.
I mean, obviously, playing gigs is going to be a major stream of income, especially for newcomer DJs. But now I feel so bad because they're a slog so much. They play, they've become president of these clubs and they'll play like on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Or DJs become influencers making 1-minute reels.
Yeah, or you make the mashups.
Yeah.
But it's just a mess. Like
exactly, it's like very.
I mean, there's your royalties from your music, which unless you're an independent artist, are like me.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make much money.
Okay.
Unless you hit the millions and stuff. So, but the royalties are one. Definitely, your gigs are gonna be a major source of income.
Okay. Can you give a percentage term, like how much of your income?
Also, like a lot of your. See, I haven't played a show in like since May because I was like, bro, I'm taking a break. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chill a bit, and I've actually been quite happy. But I'm playing a show now. It starts from. I'm playing a show.
These 3 months are
Saturday.
like. These 3
no,
months
season
like,
starts. Season starts from November onwards. But yeah, so the source of income. I mean, you will cut it between the management, then your photographer, videographer. If you're playing it, then you're cutting. And you end up with like X amount. On season time, majority of my source of income is from my shows. And then you have your royalties, which depends again. It's very
I know.
It's all over the place. Some months you'll make say 10 lakhs, some months you'll make 1 lakh, some months
from
you'll
royalties.
Make 20,000. No, from shows.
Okay, yeah.
Royalties though,
it's very minimal.
Again depends.
Yeah.
Royalties again it will be the same. It can be the same thing.
Yeah.
Then obviously you have your influencer-giri, which is going to be getting your brands and this and that, which is good. Like I enjoy working with brands as well because the brands are giving me more freedom to do fun stuff.
Fair.
I enjoy working with brands for sure. So that also can be a good source of income if you know how to nail it.
But
properly.
do you think a DJ who wants to kind of earn a lot of money and then go international, like just launch himself internationally, for him taking the influencer route makes much more sense because he's going to earn a lot from that influencer route?
It's still very tough though. It's still very tough to earn from the influencer route. Even I've experienced it. Like you have to be really consistent with what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a very
definitely
unbalanced career.
Even for an influencer, it is a lot of work.
It's a hell of a lot of work, and I mean, I know a lot of my friends are like influencer creators, so on and so forth, and I realize the amount of effort they put in. And I'm like, bro, I can't do that. Like that's too much effort. Because then if I put that much effort into content, then I'll lose that effort into music and then other things that I want to do. But at the end of the day, it can be a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that is another source of income that DJs definitely can focus on.
Okay, so there are 3
in different ways. You don't need to be the mashup guy, which every second person is now. You can find ways.
Yeah, that's true.
And then what else you have source of income from? Majorly it'll be your shows. Major cash will be your shows.
Right.
And as long as you can nail that and start creating something sustainable, like I definitely cannot because I love to travel, so I just play a show and go somewhere else.
Fair.
So those are your main sources of income, and it's tough for starting DJs because they're really slogging right now a lot more. I have a couple of DJs that I mentor who are still starting, still trying to break it, and then they are playing shows for like 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, and they're like, we can't sustain this because you're asking us to do 3 hours of work in the middle of like the night.
That's true. That's why I think they have to play in clubs.
They have to be the residents, and then they again have to put the effort on social media to grow that audience. So it's a very complicated process now.
Right. Would you suggest someone to be a DJ?
No, not in this scenario right now because it's very complicated.
Yeah.
And like when I started out, it was pretty simple. It was your music talk, your music spoke, and it kind of grew from that. and now it's just your music has to speak, your content has to speak, how you look has to speak, how you're presented on social media has to speak. Then if you suddenly let that down for even a week, then you're suddenly irrelevant. People forget about you even if you're gone for a week. So back then, because there was only Facebook, you could disappear for a month and no one would have a problem. Like I've not played a show since May, and now trying to get shows is a little bit harder.
Right.
Because in that time span, there's been 200 DJs that have blossomed, and they're like, oh yeah, we can also play the same shows at half the price, and you're like, arey bro.
Fuck, dude.
There is a lot of things. There is a lot of, like, again, now coming to the career wise, if I ask anybody to be a DJ now, there are established DJs that are playing shows for 1/4 the price, half free sometimes, because they just want to play the show and they want that stage.
Like they just want the recognition.
They just want the recognition, relevance. And that is just caused a huge downfall in prices and who gets what, and the fight for which campus and which club and this. And they're like, I'll book Sean for X amount, but I can get this guy who lives next door for 1/4 the amount. I'll get him. But then they're not going to get what I can deliver. But they don't care because people are buying drinks at the bar.
So I think this is the only industry after COVID that's kind of shrinking because of.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's like I hate
where
to
do you
say
think
it,
is like the future? Genuinely, I want to understand because as a consumer, I think these guys are killing it.
I don't know my future, bro. The entire industry's future. I mean, it's just chaotic, man. And I know a lot of artists that have also kind of stepped back from their roles and said, you know what, I'm just going to sit to produce because I can't take it. They're just taking a step back and said, bro, I can't do it. I can't take it. There's even, like, for example, Anisood, he started earlier than me. He also diversified a hell of a lot. He took like a 2-year break or a 1-2 year break, where he just kind of rebranded everything and found his direction, which is now Anyasa, and he's doing super well. But you take that 1-2 year break, and he took it at the right time. If I take a 1-2 year break right now, I'm no one in 2 years. Unless I rebrand to like a really big extent.
Bro, but I think eventually everyone has this problem.
Yeah, everyone. In regardless
so, like,
of career.
Does it with your head where you just don't want to quit, and like how do you keep just going, because when you know the industry is shifting and you are pessimistic about the whole like DJing thing where it's going, and I think it's realistic, to be honest.
It's realistic. It's not pessimistic. I've seen what it is.
Yeah. So then how do
messing
you
with your head? Yes. Yeah, it's like currently messing with my head as well, because I know.
Okay, so let's talk about you now. Like, I'm very intrigued to know your kind of story. What's your background, and when did you start, and before that, what did you want to do?
I wanted to be a marine biologist. So
Fuck.
I wanted to be a marine biologist since I was a kid. But then
so now I get the diving addiction.
That's where it came from. But when I had to do science in school, I was like, bhai, nahi.
Fair.
Ye nahi ho paga. Then I was like, I want to be a host on like the travel and living shows and stuff, and be able to travel the world and get paid for it. The essence was I want to find a way to travel the world and get paid for it.
Like an influencer right now.
And at that time, I was very sure that I didn't want to do 9 to 5s. I was very sure I do not want to sit behind a desk. I do not want to be a 9 to 5. And this was when I was like 8 or 9. I was very sure that time only I didn't want to do 9 to 5.
You were 8 or 9?
I was very sure that I did not want to, sit behind a desk.
So tell me, as a 14-year-old kid, how do you start playing music? How do you get to know that, okay, this is something you want to do for the rest of your life?
I used to...
You've been DJing for 14 years.
Yeah, I've been DJing my dad founded Sunburn, and he used to take me to the first Sunburns. 2007 it started, and I used to still be there at 12, completely illegally, obviously. I used to be even put in one corner in the family lounge and just had to sit in one place.
Right.
But with that, I started listening to a lot of dance music. Started seeing, Carl Cox, Amin Aburin, Axwell, Above and Beyond, all playing at that time. And I was just, I don't know, there's something that kind of happened. I was like, let me try DJing, see how it goes. And we had a very dinky console in our house, which we still have. And I started just mixing random music on it, like horribly, like it wasn't really mixing.
Yeah.
But I would like, I think I have some videos somewhere, but I would just stand like in the hall where the console was and do the whole Armin Van Buren Jesus Christ pose.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm playing to like 10,000 people. And then it just, I don't know, it kind of became a thing. I think I never liked music. Like I didn't like music class. I didn't like learning instruments. I was completely against. I was just like, nah.
You didn't like it unless you were doing it.
I really didn't like guitar. I used to I tried guitar, piano, everything. And I was just like, no. I stopped within a month and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not a fan. Somehow DJing came along, and then I remember telling my dad that, okay, can I DJ at Sunburn? He was like, nah. No. no chance. And
How old were you then?
I was 14 at that time, and he's
Okay.
like, obviously you're 14, why you want to DJ and stuff, and I sure, blah blah, and then he's like, and I asked him again, he's like, no, constantly saying no, and then he's like, okay, let's do one thing, you play at my parties, you play at my birthday party, you play at the house party that I have, and you play, whichever one I tell you, whenever I tell you, you play.
Okay.
So I just started playing at the house parties and his parties and some other birthday parties that I would, just be sent for.
Yeah, just to gain
learn,
experience.
Just to get experience and stuff. And he's like, if I like your sets, we'll see.
Okay.
And then it kind of progressed. I kept playing a lot more and things started going well that way. He started liking it. There's a couple of times he did not like it at all. And you tell me very clearly. And then when she said, okay, fine, I'll give you a chance.
Okay.
And then the chance came, and again, before that chance, he was like, if I do not like the set you play, I'm not going to help you out, prepare anything, but if I do not like your set, you aren't getting on a stage again.
Fair.
No chance.
Fair.
The rest of the 100 people can enjoy it, but if I don't like it, you're not getting on stage. I'm sorry. Thankfully, he kind of liked it. Kind of because he had a lot of things that I should do better and so on and so forth. And then he's like, okay, cool. And then I didn't play another show till the Sunburn the next year, which was on the same stage. I played at a bar stage from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. which was in the corner of the venue. It was literally at a bar. It was the stage was here and the bar was adjoined to it.
Right.
Then the next year I played at the same stage. But the next year the stage was a little bit bigger and more away from the bar. Then the third year I played at main stage 3. Then I went from the fourth year I went to main stage 2. Then stayed at main stage 2. And the fifth year I got to play at main stage. So it took a whole 5-year progression going from the smaller stage to the biggest stage. Because that's how I wanted it.
And where were you playing this?
Sorry?
Which bar?
Oh, this was all Sunburn.
This was all Sunburn,
yeah,
right?
so and then in between I chose whatever, but
Yeah.
this was all a gradual progression because my dad wanted to make sure that I learned it the hard way. I didn't get the golden chance at player main stage the first year. It was you wait and until you deserve that main stage slot, which was 5-6 years later. So 2010 I started, 2015 was the first time I played main stage.
So there are two things I've kind of noticed about you was that firstly, if your dad has gotten you the gig, you're very humble about it, and you've worked towards it.
Yeah.
And you accept the fact that you worked towards it.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people do. So I just wanted to tell you that.
No, 100%, because at the end of the day, if my dad wasn't the person he is, I wouldn't have got that opportunity.
Yeah.
I always say it. People come at me and say, oh, you're the son of Sunburn, or you're son of this, you're son of that. I say, yeah, I know I am.
But it's not
a
bad thing, right?
No,
it's just
see, at the end of the day, 13 years down the line, I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
I'm still talking about it, still playing shows. So it's as simple as, if I was not worthy, you see actors that aren't worthy who have
not done well in Bollywood. Yeah,
they're disappearing.
Yeah,
That's
true.
But if you're there and you've had the progression, then you stay. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's true. And then how did you land the Tomorrowland gig?
That was because I started producing music and I just reached out to a bunch of labels and then reached out to a bunch of people, and then why it just kind of happened.
Right.
And then simultaneously, obviously, people knew my dad from Sunburn. And so while I was doing this and taking my international trips abroad in Amsterdam, meeting Armada, meeting Spinning, all these guys, and me trying to meet people, connect and tell the India story, he was doing it on the same time and helping me, saying that, hey, you should meet this person too. It was a balance. Yeah.
Okay. So from 14,
Yes.
when you started DJing, to now when you're also producing music, can you first explain the difference between DJing and producing, and how does a person go from that to this?
I was forced to go to produce here because that's how the industry kind of became.
Okay.
It was purely DJing as an art form first, and then DJs certainly had to produce music. So I kind of just had to do it. There's no option.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Do you think most DJs have to do this? Go from DJing to producing music eventually?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a part of the art now.
Why?
You can be a consistently good DJ, but unless you release music, you won't get that little recognition that people want. People are looking at your Spotify numbers and stuff now a lot more.
That's true.
So, but that's where a bunch of co-productions, ghost productions, all that come in, because some people just are really good DJs but don't have that technical knowledge to produce a good song. They might be very creative and have an understanding of how to produce a song very well and ideas, but they might not have that technical knowledge to sit and produce it.
That's fair.
But it's just a part of the industry. It's part of the art form that has kind of become that if you're DJing, you kind of should be a music producer as well. You don't have to, but you should be a music producer as well.
Okay, I get it. I'm just curious about one thing right here. DJs, how can they become or have businesses? Is there any way or any sort of connection where you combine entrepreneurship with being a DJ? Think about it.
Yeah, definitely can. I mean, I've done it.
Okay, how do you do that?
A lot of people do it because they kind of have to. Again,
okay.
You have to you can't just sustain it. At least in this country, you can't sustain just being a DJ.
From the three things that you mentioned.
You can't sustain just being a DJ unless you're a name. Or unless you're willing to play 4 shows a weekend for 3 months in a row and exhaust yourself physically and mentally
Yeah.
just for the cash.
Yeah.
Um,
No, like what is the thing that you've
oh
done?
no, I do. I have like I work at like I partner in another marketing agency. I have my own company that works in football and sports marketing. Then I'm starting a clothing line with a friend that is to do with more underwater stuff. So those kind of stuff, nothing related to music at all.
Okay. And if
Um,
someone wants to start something related to music, ideally, what would you suggest? Is there
Not a
anything?
record label. It's a pain. It's a journey, man. Record labels are they don't really
Make money?
make a lot of money very fast.
Really?
It's you have to, unless you have like big artists on it.
Yeah.
If you're develop, because I started a record label called Ancora Records pre-COVID, and we invested a lot of money into kind of getting the songs out and developing them, helping the artists reach the platforms, and you're not getting the money back in royalties very easily. So it's a very long process to kind of be profitable in a record label. They have done it. A lot of them have done it.
Yeah, like even
lot of the new small
Drake
indie
started
labels.
OVO, right? So
Yeah. So you need to have a good partnership and funding. Like
That's
I did
true,
not.
yeah,
So that is where the mistake was.
Okay.
I was trying to do it self-sustained, and pre-COVID my shows were a lot, so I tried to do both at the same time. It didn't work out. So now it's more about finding the right kind of balance
Okay.
between the two, so that can help. But yeah, you just have to see what excites you in a manner that's not to do with music for a bit.
That's
Because
fair.
then it keeps you, if your whole life becomes kind of music and DJing, sometimes you burn out.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to just have something that's not related at all.
But you can do you can play music all your life. I
Yeah,
feel.
you can.
You
That's for
can.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. What's next for you, bro? Like, what are you planning
know.
out?
I really don't know. I'm doing a lot of stuff honestly right now, and there are a couple of records that are more internationally focused that should come out in the next couple of months. There's a huge shift kind of happening for myself, so I'm in a figuring it out space.
Right.
But I'm just kind of enjoying life, man, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening outside,
Yeah.
outside my bubble,
Yeah.
which is tough to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just realized more and more, as I said, I'm just enjoying being alive and having fun with it.
Bro, like, okay, I said it was the last question, but now I have
Yeah.
one more question. Now, you are in your bubble, and
Yeah.
like you know who you are and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that, right? And you have your own.
I don't know who I am. But
Yeah, like, you have your own shelter and everything,
Yeah.
right? And when you look at the outside world, like I completely relate to you
Yeah.
on a place where it's up. It's very.
It's very
It's very.
very messed up.
Yeah. So, like, how do you how you as a DJ where you have to
Yeah.
play for the consumers?
Yeah.
And I know I've asked you this, but
Yeah.
I really want to get to the depth of this where how do you, whatever I'm doing for the consumer,
Yeah.
I think it's stupid because they want to listen to it and I'm not doing my
Yeah.
my music, like what
Yeah.
I want to actually listen.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, it sounds smart to you,
Yeah.
right? So then what do you keep telling yourself and then why do you keep playing it? Because I know there's money
Yeah,
in
for
there,
sure.
but I feel like there's just like your mental health just gets messed up
It
there.
does. It does. That's why I took a break in May, because I was just every show I was getting a bunch of anxiety from it. I don't know whether it was from the fact that I travel a lot or it was coming from the consumer, or I don't know what aspect the anxiety was
Yeah.
coming from, but I was getting anxiety like 2 weeks before a single show,
Yeah.
and it was just not letting me sleep and be happy. To be fair, like I'm playing on Saturday, and I'm like got the same feeling again, and I still haven't nailed down what that feeling
And
is.
that's
But
why you feel lost.
yeah, that's why confused, because while you do have to play for the consumer because they are your audience,
Yeah.
they are paying to see you,
Yeah.
and what you can bring to the stage. It is currently not what I enjoy, in the sense what I would love to be playing. But finding that middle ground is something that has to be worked on, because at the end of the day, the consumer is who is making you who you are.
Exactly. But have you thought of any middle ground till now?
Yeah, I'm trying some stuff. Let's
Okay.
see. For example, the Gotilo edit that I did was kind of a new vibe of mine, which is more creative led. Even the new edit that'll probably be up by the time this comes out, with the African vocal, that also is a kind of in that same vibe. But it's just now I'm more than worrying about it. I'm having fun with it. The anxiety stems from the worry.
Yeah.
That am I happy? Am I making them happy? What's going on? The questions are the ones that kill you.
Just being conscious and like
Just being conscious that I want to make these guys happy. The audience is someone that I need to please, but how do I please them while also making sure
yourself
that I'm
happy.
okay with it?
I think
know?
you just need to keep doing what you like, and if they like it, then I think you've
It's
done
tough. That is tough.
And I think because initially you had such a lot
Yeah.
of success as a teen and as
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a young adult, right now you feel like, oh fuck, I'm lost and everything. And I see that a lot with sports players as well.
Yeah, because your life as when you're a younger, when you're that like 15 to say 20, 22, especially when that is your peak and that is when you are growing, is so focused only on that when you come to 28, like I'm 28 now, where you have to start being more serious about your life and about your funds and who you're going to marry and what's your future plan, where you're going to live, where you're going to have kids. something
Yeah.
you need something that is kind of there always, like a flat,
Like a stable thing.
a stable thing. At that time you were having fun
Yeah.
and you got the glory. Now you actually have to think about it.
Yeah.
And how do I stabilize it?
Yeah.
That's when it gets stressful, because that's when you realize you have so much on your plate to figure out, you have so much to focus on and so much to do, but at the same time want to make yourself happy. Bro, I can go on, honestly.
Yeah, bro. Like genuinely I hope you figure it out, and it comes from a very good place.
100%.
And so I'll tell you like why I got inspired by you in the first place. I tell that story, man. Like I remember the feeling very well, where I was in college and you came, and my friend just dragged me saying that this DJ guy has come. So I'm like, I don't want to listen to a DJ talk for an hour, dude. Like, but he's like, no, it's good and all. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's just go.
I didn't plan that talk at all.
Yeah, I know. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it kind of hit, because you were 22 or 23 at that time, and you just went on about how you landed the gig, which you right now spoke about, and how you were very upfront about it, that bro, like while I'm good, your parents will help you a certain way and all that stuff. You said that, but then on top of that, you said that as a DJ or as any artist is there, how they kind of have to struggle, which you right now also spoke about the same thing. And I think those kind of things coming from an artist, because usually in TED Talks and all, you just have people speak about the glory things. You don't have people speaking about the reality. So that's when I give you the opposite theory, right? Like if you do anything opposite, that just works.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think that's why you're gonna make it.
My aim is just to be happy and do things I enjoy and love. So if I can like, I've nailed that. I wouldn't say I've not nailed that, but yeah, that's the aim.
Yeah, bro, you'll get it. Don't worry. Cool. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Really, I had a great chat with you. I had a very in-depth chat with you. So yeah, man.